Hey everyone, it's Darren Benson with Performance Motorcoaches. Been a while since we've done a video. We're finally getting some coaches back in our hands to ship down to Texas. This coach is a sold coach. It's 2026 Renegade Classic. It is the 43 CMD, which is basically, it's actually over 43 foot on the 126 chassis. It is a unique floor plan in that your campsite has most of your seating groups. So the idea is kind of be able to see on your campsite. Everybody has their own opinion on what the premier coach is. We'll also talk about a few things we've done to this floor plan to accommodate some special requests. We've had the same type, basically the same type request on the XLs in the past. We were able to kind of fix, I guess, would be a term, on some of the things that I had preferences in the way of storage compartments. So we were able to bring that over. So basically, XL 43 dB, Classic will be 43 CMD Classic. So it kind of gives you a rough idea there. But we'll kind of just jump right into it. So lots of new things for 2026, things that just kind of simply make sense to me. So I'm pretty excited about the additions for the 2026 models. We'll kind of go and talk about some of those. Stereo-wise, you won't really notice much difference. This customer basically had everything pretty, well, for the most part, picked out. We met them there at the factory. We were able to walk through a coach, kind of talk about things, do test drive, show all the things, and this is kind of what they came up with. So exterior-wise, I don't believe we're going to do any blackout on it, so it'll kind of look as is. So they like the industrial look of the aluminum top rail, so that's just aluminum extrusion. So we didn't paint that at all. Typically my stock coaches, I will take and paint that white. Everybody has their own preference. So, but nice, good, classic looking coach. This is the Freightliner 126, or the Cascadia 126. So it is a 600 horsepower, is the DT12 transmission. I'll kind of be quiet as the coach pulls in back behind me. We're actually at the freight yard right here, about to give it to our friends at Starfleet. I'm out of the transportation business, and I'm pretty happy about that. So, guys at Starfleet do a good job for us. We've got a handful of guys that drive for us. We try to take care of those guys, but so we just get to hand it off, and they show up at our place, and they're just a little dirty, but it's a long distance between here and there. But anyway, so Cascadia 126, 600 horsepower. So it is the DD16. So it's 15.6 liters, 600 horsepower, and 1850 torque. Now it is mated to the DT12 transmission, so it is the Detroit 12-speed transmission. It's always kind of been my favorite truck combination, all that. So really ride and drives good. It's a little bit longer hood. Aesthetically, it looks, doesn't look like it's long, but basically the only way to get 600 horse is in the long hood, the 126. So kept some of the black pieces that you would normally get. So this is standard black from Renegade, along with your slide toppers, awnings themselves, and then there again to kind of tie some of the aluminum extrusion into the chrome back in. So we did the chrome baggage doors. Now what is unique about this is one of the first 43 CMDs with 4 batteries, kids. 4 batteries and the 600 aqua. So you know, the 600 aqua will not fit on the right-hand side of these coaches. So if you've seen some of my videos on the XLs, we were able to push the aqua hot on the left-hand side. Standard, if you want the aqua hot, it takes up your nice, beautiful pass-through, 3/4 pass-through compartment, which I think was kind of silly. So able to work with those guys. So normally, if this was like a 45 dB CMR, you would have your aqua hot up there. You lose one little baby compartment for your chassis battery, so I think it's a pretty good trade-off. You get a nice sized compartment right here, your combined compartment. You don't have any inverter in there, so I think all in all, a nice trade-off to be able to get everything to fit. And really not a problem. Aqua hot over there, gonna be, if it's running, gonna be further away from you, quieter. So all in all, I think it makes sense. So part of that reason why is we'll use the term flush floor. So this slide right here goes down, so we have a mechanism that goes underneath, so the compartment gets a little bit shallower underneath versus a little bit taller one, so the aqua will fit over there. Now once you jump into some of the other Classic and XL floor plans that have that more flush slide on the opposite side, things have to be completely reversed. But happy with the way everything turned out. Great use of space. Of course, for 2026, standard 2 lithium batteries. We generally will do a second or a third or a fourth one. So standard is 2. You notice they started putting the inverters on a rack there. Much easier if you have to do any kind of maintenance, get to them. It makes the installation a lot easier for those guys at Renegade. So just, to me, it makes sense to do that. So happy to see that. Happy to have lithium standard as well. So this is the combined compartment they started doing a few years ago. Like I said, it's shored up a little bit because of your chassis batteries being in that front, but decent amount of room. We're going to do some modifications for the customer for the nightstands. We'll get those things wrapped up before they head on to Texas. We got a whole bunch of stuff we're going to kind of stick in there as well. So we get everything packed nice and tight in there. 43-inch TV with sound bar is standard on all these coaches. So this is a non-painted coach. Basically, this is a fiberglass, a gel coat up top, and then this is aluminum sheet metal here. The nice thing about the aluminum sheet metal package doors, you damage one, you don't have to paint them. So it's something we can generally change out. There again, we generally will wrap them up, stick them in a coach, and then we'll have them in our possession 48 hours after we get them in our hands. So it's a really easy change after the fact. Same for all this stuff. None of this stuff has to be painted. So like this trim right here, if you damage the trim, we can just replace the trim. We don't have to paint anything. Same for slide corners, things like that. So live tandem axle. It's not there was a recent video out on a new line that's coming out on the Cascadia. It rhymes with, what does it rhyme with? We won't even tell you. 6 times in the video, or 4 times in the video, they called it a tag axle. It was a Cascadia. It's not a tag axle, kids. This is a live axle. This is the real deal. We're not pushers. These are trucks. These are live axles. So basically, the nice thing about the live axles, one, you have additional set of tires. Tag axles, you just have 1 tire on each side. So this is a truck. These are tandem axles. They are not. Anyway, I'll jump out of that. But the nice thing about this, you can lock these axles into place. So if you're in inclement weather, any kind of sand, anything like that, you can lock this axle left to right. You lock your back axle in as well. So this is the coveted 3/4 pass-through compartment that I talked about, that I gave up. The first 43 DBXL, I opened up that compartment, saw the aqua, and my jaw just dropped to the ground. I was shocked to waste that compartment. So we have it back, 43 CMD with the big aqua hot and the XL. So pretty happy with that. We've got some 110 outlets in all the compartments. We have central vac as standard as well. So we didn't do anything too wild and crazy on the outside. This is just an option to do what they call the deluxe lighting package. So some vertical lights up here. My camera person she's shot from the hot weather. But if you'll notice that camera, kids, camera there, and then the camera down on this side, does it look a little bit different than what you normally see on these coaches? So first classic with the Excite 360 cams. So pretty happy with that. There again, first, I'd like to, it's always nice to be the first. Some cool stuff. Of course, 32,000 pound hitch on the back. I felt like my camera person was melting. Were you melting, Charlene? So anyway, bright day out. We do have the trailer cam. The nice thing, or the thing about trailer cam, you have to do an additional monitor. So we have a secondary monitor that's a Garmin GPS as well. Garmin, I think it's the 851. Nice thing about that, you have additional different additional placements, so it doesn't interrupt any of your 360 cams. That's your 36-foot short cord right there. There's a 50-amp buddy plug inside. 12.5 Onan generator standard. We started moving the Stinky Slinky out here. This is actually a late 2025 thing, but I'd like to kind of recognize that in all the 2026 we'll have the Stinky Slinky out of the wet bay, nowhere near your garden hose where you try to put water in there. So previously it was shoved back in there. Not a fan. I like it so much better. Keep the poo away from the water. So I started this little holder right here for an outdoor shower. We generally will run a hot water feed. We'll kind of modify the sprayer there. We will do a hot water mix within that. Typically, these coaches are not built with hot water feed. we go ahead and have them improvise, and then we make the modification at the dealership. So pretty happy with that. Dump valves are standard for the 2026. Of course, they've been bringing the sea level monitor in the wet bay here, so you could check out your gray, your black, your fresh. Makes it pretty handy to be able to have those in numerous places without having to pull your app out on your phone. You can simply see it right there. Technology is only get you so far. Does have the optional macerator waste pump right there. That's what they call the flow jet. Of course, automatic cord reel as well. We do have, so I noticed this the other day, and I kind of was a little confused. I believe all the Aquat 600s, in addition to having basically their 3 looped zones, so the 3rd loop goes to heat your wet bay here, but you can see this additional hydronic register right back there. To your right just a little bit. There, well, right there. That's your additional hydronic register in your wet bay. So you still have 12 volt heat pads at the bottom of that. So, kind of gets you into that more 4 seasons camping. If you want to take this to the bottom of this ski hill, do it, but be warned. Be careful. It's not a problem in colder environments. It's just when you get in crazy weather, you do have some limitations coach-wise. So nice, easy entry into the cab. Of course, you'll see a lot more players into the true big truck Super C market. Newmar, Dynamax, Integra, Gretsch. I heard Gretsch is coming up with I think Gretsch will be something to look at. But everybody else, everybody has their own preference. Of course, we'll get all this stuff cleaned up. 120-gallon fuel tank from the factory. Got your def tank up front. We'll get all this stuff cleaned up. Renegade takes and recovers these seats. It does have some nice functions and features to them that they go ahead and add heated to it. Come around front here while we try to get out of some of the noise. So I don't think we're going to do anything exterior wise. We might add a grill guard to it, but nothing. We're not going to black anything out, anything like that. Let's go ahead and jump inside. So Lakewood interior on this, or Lakewood is the stain. Look at the entry door, kids. Slam the entry door as hard as you want. I don't think you'll break it. So that was standard for 2026, so happy to have that. They started doing these a little bit wider handles on each side of the door as well. Nice handles there. I went ahead and added a second coat rack. This coach was actually set up with a 3rd coat rack that we shipped loose. You decide you want to put put it somewhere. I just need to make sure it's indeed included in the coach. Starlink standard. 2026, we've kind of gotten away from all your satellite stuff. It does have a cell phone booster as well. Dual Girard awnings on it. There's your controllers on the inside. So still a very usable coach. This is actually a modified 43 CMD floor plan, so you can change this up a little bit to accommodate a coffee bar. I know somebody that would love a coffee bar. Love a coffee bar. She's probably wondering, why don't we have one of these things so I can get a coffee bar, right? So anyway, standard panel cabinetry in this. Typically I do a flat panel. This is more traditional, but it's still a good look to it. They've gone down to a 5 sheen standard for 2026. Had like a 30 sheen prior to. At first I wasn't a big fan of it, but it's definitely growing on me. I like it, quite a bit. Just kind of gives a little bit different look to it. Low chance of any kind of fingerprint stuff like that with a lower sheen. They changed up the trim a little bit, backlit it, and then did this little insert piece right here. We've had a few people inquire about building a coach without this trim. We could come up with something of some sort, whether it was recovered in a different material or just do a really nice piece of wood. Not a problem taking do that after the fact. So customer wanted the most amount of storage. They're going to spend a lot of time inside their coach. They did not want to do any of the overhead deletes. So it's just the standard windows, actually in a picture window. The automatic window shades are standard for 2026. Just going to do them so you can see out. I'm going to close them because we don't like hot. So So we're running on one of the inverters right now. Running the air conditioner definitely helps out big time to kind of knock out some of the heat. Shauna Lee would be upset with me if she was sweating inside the coach. She's not sweating. She's a much happier girl now than she did earlier, and she's still going to bang me up about the coffee bar. So anyway, we did the big picture windows here. Went ahead and kept with the standard decor on the windows as opposed to the wooden inserts. They tamed their valances way down from previously. Had some wild fabrics on there, so this is, to me, pretty darn tame. It's not like you walk in and you say, I love it or I hate it. It's like, oh, it looks good. So happy that they've kind of tamed some of the fabric choices down. But all in all, a really good looking coach. Lambright furniture. This is the theater seat. 2026, they did. Automatic headrest there. So pretty nice. They did these little guys, standard. Hungry Man dinner, or maybe a margarita, who knows. I like the Lambright because most people have little furry munchkins, so dogs can sit right there, or if their dogs are in trouble, it goes down, dogs go on the floor. But I like to sit up. As far as theater seats, I think it just makes so much more sense. I have a tough time with the couch. The couches have low depth front to back, so I feel like a little kid. Or I feel like an adult sitting on a little kid's couch. So keep that in mind. I very seldom will bring a unit in with a couch because I think they're extremely uncomfortable. So that's kind of my preference. Convertible booth dinette. So we have the outdoor TV that's kind of back behind. This is a LG solid surface, a little bit different color for 2026. It's a Costa. It's actually made by LG, but it's a solid surface. It's a little bit softer than some of your granite and quartz, so you definitely want to do something lighter, because they will show scratches. So that's kind of my preference. To do the dual plugs here, got a plug back there for the coffee bar and the fax machine. See? No, that's just a 110 plug, but we do have a little bit of a, this guy wanted some more wired connections, so we have a few different, I'm trying to think where all those are, some of the hubs. So we do have some Cat 6 cables running point A to point B. I'll have to go back in my memory and remember it, but I think we have, right here. Fax machine goes right here. So we have this, and I think back in that cabinet there, but like if after the fact he decides he wants additional plug, we can remove the fax machine, stick it over there, and then be able to put another plug there, whatever we might want to do, rotary phone on the wall, something like that. But no, it makes sense just to have a wired connection. I should probably be more careful with wireless connections with as much as I do on mine. So probably a relatively good idea, kids. Oh, look at here. Ask and you shall receive. So we will probably end up hanging this back in the bath. I just think it's a good idea. It's about $100 from the factory. I can't build that thing for $100. Well, I can't buy it for $100, so I'll just stack them up. Darren's house of coat hooks. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up so you can kind of see how much room you have. Lots of room for activity. Shauna, don't fall down the stair. The only thing that's I thought was a little strange, I think the Firefly screen would normally be across the wall in this configuration. It's up here. I mean, you still have a light control there, but it's not totally master. So there again, just a matter of preference. Big screen, 2026, big screen. It's like the big iPad. So we're going to extend the slide. Hydraulic over here. Still a Schwintek over here. We've had pretty darn good luck in the last probably 2 years, Schwinteks. Our problems seem to have gone away. A lot of people go over to the Vroom slide. I almost think, and if you don't know, a lot of the components on the Vroom still come from Lippert. I think Lippert might have gotten smart and said, why don't we improve our own stuff the way Vroom improves our stuff? So we've had pretty darn good luck here lately with the Schwintek. So standard for 2026, and certain floor plans will be the fireplace here, and then they took a step further. We were always taking the fireplace out and doing like hinging it, adding more storage to it. We've done a lot of the, I think we've got 2 of those that we got to ship down, little pieces of wood surround. They took a little bit step further and recessed it inside. We're pretty good woodworking guys, but just a lot more work to take and do it like that. So rather do just the style that goes over the top. You don't have to worry about any sagging. I mean, we've not had any issues, but I think it's better. Of course, it's nice to have that all finished out on the inside. So the ones we've done, they've been pretty extensive because we have to go clear out all the plumbing, get a lot more usable space back in there, get it opened up. But all in all, nice layout. Some doors there. Of course, all of the pantry now basically pushed open instead of them just sliding out, because the good Lord knows the hominy doesn't stop for corners. So what I like to do, I'm just worried to death these things are going to come flying, so I'll file these in the kitchen area. Still need to get like a little piece of rubber to go over the top, slide them on there, we're good to go. Probably run to the hardware store and get a little piece of rubber, like just a rubber hose. That's all we need. Yep. Rather scuff the wood a little bit than break a tile. But nice setup right there. There's a lot of room for a lot of macaroni and cheese. Pretty cool, huh? So we'll probably end up relocating that either back behind there. We'll get it out of the way, so you can do your dual trash cans. You can do a recycle can. Plenty of room there. Look at there, kids. More room. So a ton of room. Suddenly, you put all your spices could go right in there. Coffee maker there. Spices there. Should be pretty excited to have this set up. So, like I said, it's, for people that are in campgrounds, more having your openness on your right hand side, wave at your people, blah blah blah. So, but just a matter of preference. But we do sell a fair amount. We sell more floor plans, this XL floor plan, when we do classics. But I think with the evolution of the coffee bar, you get a lot more people on this floor plan from here on out. So a little bit different configuration here. It gets a little tight. I'm gonna go ahead and run the slide outs in the back here. So I mean, I'm 220. I got plenty of room. We still have a full half bath here. I'm trying to remember. I think the storage normally would be over here, and then the bath could go over there. Would be the standard configuration here. Did I mention how big the screen was? Big screen, kids. So, washer dryer here. We got more linen. You can't see enough. Secret. I think let's flip flop. Let's flip flop. You go back there, and then I will walk to you. Look at all this. Look at all this pantry space. Electrical's all underneath here, but there's a lot of room in here, kids. You put all your gowns in there. Bubblegum ice cream. So washer dryer here. We got this little guy that flips around. Your limitation on this side is going to be this dude. But they went ahead and put the nut. Oh, that's nice. It's real nice. We need a light in there. Is there a light on the other side? There's a light. Going back to parts to get more parts. So I think we need a light in here. We'll figure out how we do a motion light in here. So here, we're gonna be like we're dancing. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the window shades, kids. Don't want mom to get hot. So half bath here in the middle of the coach. I think it's a good setup. Got plenty of room in here. Nice countertop right here. If I'm washing the dogs in the back, Shelley can be doing her makeup up here. So you have plenty of room for all of the face moisturizers. Really tall cabinet right there. You put a lot of stuff in there, couldn't you, Shelley? Kind of digging that. There and there. We have taken and put like 110 plugs inside here. So if you have, now you can buy hair dryers, so you can play jump rope with the cords. So you do it there, and then it just stays plugged in all the time. You don't have to worry about plugging it in. So whatever you want, definitely get done. But nice setup. Have a hydronic register right there. Sometimes we'll go through and do a little bypass to keep that, because they get hot. Like everything's going on, we'll do a bypass switch there if the customer wants. Little window there, but good size setup here. So this, I believe the customer is going to do like a custom mattress. From the factory, whenever you do the, so it's twofold. I remember. So what started was, used to all the king size beds had a little bit wider base underneath, and like Bigfoot me, I couldn't get in here. So I'm like, I want the narrower base, with the bigger bed, and so we did it the hard way, but brought a lot more attention to the fact that you don't need a big bed base underneath. You need a narrower bed base, because big-feeted people want to walk around the edge of the bed. So anyway, in the end idea here is to be able to have more walkway room with your big feet and whatnot around the edge, but be able to accommodate a 72-inch wide. We'll take those nightstands. That's what we used to do back in the day. We would take the nightstands, have them shipped loose, and then cut them down. Basically, we got them to take a step further. We do have the 110, so if we cover that up, be able to route the 110s on plugs facing outward. But we have a few different things. Once the customer gets there, we'll line it all out. But that's kind of the idea here. But from here forward, if you go a 72-inch wide versus the 66-inch wide bed, it's a narrower bed base. It's a little bit of a pain because the nightstands are a slight angle, so they're kind of a pain. That's the reason why I like the previous ones, where they're just about this big. Cut them down, stick them up there, and you had all the room to wrap your fitted sheets around the very edge. You can obviously pull the mattress out, but just small stuff that, you make a bed or two, and Charlie gets mad, and we got to figure out a better way to make the bed. So that's what we're doing, kids. So automatic window shades, all your controls are right there. This, in a bedroom, you have to have some sort of an egress window. But I don't know how they did it in the icons. But I don't know. Think about it, kids. So anyway, either egress here, egress there. Most people will decide that they want to do this setup right here. No window here, so that way you can do this. Look at all this. Ton of room here. There again, my preference is to do the two drawers here. I think their idea was going to put their shoes. Weirdo me and my shoes. I won't have shoes anywhere near. I mean, I'll go on my feet, but then they got to go. They've been to the outside world. They can't come anywhere inside. But nice room here. AV center on the right. There again, I typically do a lot of the solid panel doors there. I think we're going to put the Atari in there. Game Boy. And then all drawers below. Pretty swanky trim there, isn't it? I like it. Didn't do any AC covers on there. Just all solid white ceiling. Did the ceiling fans front and rear. Out back here. So from the factory, we ordered our coaches with a prep to be able to put a shower miser in, water miser. The idea back behind this, okay, we're at a campground. I'm sorry, we're not at a campground. We're at the racetrack. We're at Uncle Bud's farm. We're at wherever it might be, and we're using the water on the coach. I'm kind of a sissy about cold water, so when you turn this on, obviously it's going to be cold until it comes from your aquat up here. It's a good haul up there, so it's going to take a minute. So the idea is, instead of all that cold water going straight down to wait on the warm water, is you flip this valve right here, that water goes right back to your water tank. You're not filling your gray water tanks. You're not wasting a gallon or two every time you go to let this guy warm up. Additionally, we've seen issues. Basically, there's a flow sensor within the aquat. If you try to dial your water way down where you just try to conserve it, we've noticed that sensor not kick back on. And then next thing you know, you have some really cold water. You got these spurts back and forth. So you do that, flip it. You can probably dial this in. So most of that water is going back to your tank just a little bit, so it keeps it more consistent. So kind of a matter of preference. More shower caddies here. Oddly enough, we have the old style to match this. So we have some of those old styles we can put here and there. We'll probably end up ordering some of these, but I'm going to try to get them a little bit taller, so that way the Garnier Fructis does not fall out on the ground. It's a big deal, big deal. These shorties you're okay, but the big, what's the Aussie, the mane and tail? Mane and tail, I'm going to fall right out. So talked to these, or I highlighted about this. So previous had this little monkey latch, and it was kind of a pain in the rear, kind of, and so they went with this, and just the old slammeroo, kids. Look at that, just right in there. When you take off, we'll hear the shower banging around. Step on it. Boom, locks into place. Good to go. Just kind of no-brainer, but small stuff like that. We get broken. In fact, I shipped a shower door the other day down to the dealership because I think we'd ordered one and it got busted by UPS. And Darren's delivery service in RVs works pretty darn good. So just small little things. I mean, until you've owned an RV, until you've played with the RV, until you've slept in and gone to the bathroom and everything you need to do, all this stuff is kind of foreign. So, do we make mistakes? Absolutely. But I feel all in all, between Renegade's engineers, between our input, I really feel that the coaches only get better as time progresses. Small little things, but it's a big deal, and like little stuff like that drives me nuts. I don't, suddenly, we get into a fight over a banging door. So the fact that it goes back in here, and then we can enjoy our breakfast and our coffee bar, it's a big deal. Big deal, kids. So all convertible shelving in this, all the Estee Lauder convertible shelving in there. Window say hello, automatic window shade. Always like to make sure these things are closed before they go to the. So we could have done a row of drawers there, but they get the standard drawer right there. Let me go ahead and close this one. Keep all the heat out as much as it possible. All in all, I think colors are great. A little bit different color selections on the tile for 2026, but I'm not a big fan of change, and then lo and behold, I like them all. So same deal with the sheen. I wasn't a big fan of that. It's like, oh, we get change, but I think everything turned out really good. Really happy for this couple. I think they're coming from us from Minnesota area, but they'll be out on the road traveling quite a bit. Hopefully they come by and see us whenever it's 20 below in Minnesota. Come to Lubbock, Texas. The dirt doesn't seem too bad when it's 20 below. So we'll get this coach on the road. We'll get it packed up, and we'll get Eric and Christina in this coach the next few weeks. Always appreciate you guys watching these videos. We have a 2026 CMR, our first Peterbilt, 2026 Peterbilt. We're refining the paint, kids. We're refining the paint. So hopefully we'll have that in the next day or so. Always appreciate you guys watching these videos. Most of our stock coaches will be in later. So if you want to coach today, call us in 2 months. We'll have something for you. But we're really, really low on stuff right now, but we'll start seeing some stock stuff roll in the next November-ish. Be a nice time to come down to West Texas in the fall. Warm days, crisp nights. So make sure you guys like, tag, and subscribe, pmcrv.com.